Check this out.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, we spend a lot of time on this show sifting through academic papers, tech journals, sometimes these really heavy philosophical treatises. Yeah. And usually when we pivot to something, say, spiritual or meditative, you kind of know what to expect. You expect a certain setting.
Right. Soft lighting, maybe some wind chimes in the background. A very serious author with a very serious degree.
Exactly. But the source material we're looking at today, it just completely defines that categorization. We're looking at a text called Awakening the Merkabah and some excerpts from another piece on stillness. Yeah. The author, well, let me just read you the byline because I honestly had to read it twice to make sure I was, hallucinating.
It is certainly memorable.
It's from the Reverend Point Blank, a.k.a. the witicizer of comedy. And he signs off as being straight from the Chi, a.k.a. Chi-Town, Chicago.
That's quite the entrance.
It is. He explicitly states he is continuing to preach the gospel of truth through my God-given gifts and talents. Point blank.
Thank you, Mike and Mika. I appreciate it. For my listeners right now, this piece is pretty heavy for most of you, but it is not out of reach. It's about the awakening of the Merkabah. The Merkabah doesn't awaken with mere belief, but with breath, thoughts, and intense relief. It stirs when fear releases its hold, and stillness turns the spirit bold. In a world that rules, distracts, and divides, the Merkabah waits where calm resides. It thrives in silence, the quiet of the soul, where breath and heart becomes one whole. No need for approval, no external key, just a steady breath and the spine set free. When you slow down your center core, the Merkabah awakens and confusion is no more. It's not the mind that activates this light. It's the body's embrace, pure and right. For in this stillness, your spirit aligns, and the Merkabah spine with yours will align. For those who want to wait to understand the Merkabah, Mike and Mika are going to break it down for you. So, enjoy.
So right off the bat, you have this persona that feels like a stand-up comic or a hype man. It's loud, it's urban, it's got this vaudevillian flair. But then you look at the text itself, and it's this incredibly precise, almost sparse manual on internal silence.
And I think that juxtaposition is actually the first lesson here. We tend to judge information by the packaging. You know, if wisdom doesn't come in a linen-bound book or from a guy in a robe on a mountain, we tend to dismiss it. But the Reverend Point Blank is offering something very profound here. He's offering a mechanic's manual for the soul, just disguised in a very colorful wrapper.
Okay, before we get into the mechanics, though, we need to address the elephant in the room. The title is Awakening the Merkabah. I've heard that word thrown around in certain circles. But for the person listening who might think that sounds like a type of exotic car, what are we actually talking about?
That's a fair question. The word Merkabah has really deep roots. Historically, in Jewish mysticism, it refers to a chariot, specifically the throne chariot of God. But in the context of this text and, broader modern spirituality, it's often described as a light body or a vehicle for the spirit. Think of it as an energetic field that surrounds the body.
So like a dormant engine.
That's a great way to put it. The text treats it exactly like that, a piece of spiritual technology that is currently, turned off. And the whole point of this deep dive is to figure out how the Reverend Point Blank suggests we turn the key.
Okay, so we have this vehicle, this Merkabah, and the author starts with a bit of a warning, or maybe a clarification. He says, the Merkabah does not awaken with mere belief.
That's a crucial line.
It felt like a shot across the bow. Because usually isn't belief the whole point. You have to believe to receive.
In religion, often yes. But this isn't framed as religion, it's framed as operations. Mere belief is passive. You can believe your car will start, but if you don't actually turn the ignition, you're just sitting in a garage. He's shifting the burden from faith to action. He's saying this requires a specific input code.
And he gives us that code. He lists 3 specific prerequisites. He says it awakens with breath, thoughts, and intent and relief.
That trio is interesting because of the order. Breath comes first.
Why do you think that is? Is it just because we need to breathe to live?
It's more mechanical than that. Breath is the only physiological function you have that is both involuntary and voluntary. You breathe when you sleep, but you can also choose to hold your breath right now. It is the bridge, between the conscious mind and the autonomic nervous system. By starting with breath, he's grounding this awakening in biology, not just imagination.
Okay, so we start with the body, then he mentions thoughts, but he doesn't say good thoughts or happy thoughts, just thoughts.
Well, look at the third element. Intent in relief. This, I think, clarifies the role of thoughts.
I wanted to ask you about that phrasing, intent in relief. It sounds a bit odd. Does he mean relief like, phew, I'm relieved?
I don't think so. I read relief here like a sculpture-like bas relief, something that stands out sharply against the background.
Oh, that changes the image completely.
Exactly. If your intent is in relief, it is sharp, defined, and distinct from the background noise of your mind. So you use the breath to ground yourself, you acknowledge the thoughts, but your intent must be carved out clearly. It's about vector. Most of us have scattered intent. We want 5 things at once. He's asking for a laser, not a floodlight.
But then he identifies the blocker. And this is where the text gets a bit psychological. He writes, it stirs when fear releases its hold.
Releases its hold. That implies a grip, a physical tension.
It makes me think that the default state for most of us is fear, whether we admit it or not.
I'd argue it goes deeper than just an emotion. In this context, fear is a frequency. Think about what fear does biologically. It constricts, it tightens blood vessels, it shortens the breath, it creates a tunnel vision. If the Merkabah is about expansion, about this light body spinning and growing, fear is the exact opposite physical force. It's not just that fear is bad, it's that fear literally makes the mechanism impossible to operate. It's like trying to inflate a balloon while you're squeezing it with both hands.
And the antidote he offers is stillness. Stillness turns the spirit bold. That's a paradox, isn't it? We usually associate boldness with action, loudness, taking the hill.
We do. We confuse boldness with aggression. Aggression is reactive. You push me, I push back. But true boldness, that requires stability. Think of a martial artist waiting for the opponent to strike. They are perfectly still. That stillness isn't weakness. It's a reservoir of potential energy. The Reverend point blank is saying that if you want the spirit to be bold, you don't pump it up with hype. You strip away the noise until it stands on its own.
Which is incredibly difficult to do, because we have to talk about the environment we're trying to do this in. The text describes the world as a place that rushes, distracts, and divides.
It's the unholy trinity of modern life.
It really is. Rushes, distracts, divides. I feel like I need that on a t-shirt, or maybe a warning label on my phone.
It's a very accurate diagnosis. Rushes, we're obsessed with speed and efficiency. Distracts, our attention is the primary currency of the economy. And divides, we are constantly sorting ourselves and others into boxes.
And the text contrasts this chaotic world with the internal sanctuary. It says, the Merkabah waits where calm resides. I like that word, waits.
It's important. It implies that this power isn't going to come save you. It's not going to chase you down the street. It's passive in the sense that it requires you to come to it. If you are running with the world, you are running away from the Merkabah.
And the destination is the silence, the quiet of the soul. But then he gets specific about what happens in that silence. He says it's where breath and heart become one whole.
And this brings us back to that idea of divides. The world divides us. It fragments us. I'm sure you've had that feeling where your body's in a meeting, your mind is planning dinner, and your emotions are still angry about an email from yesterday. You are in 3 places at once.
Only 3. On a good day, maybe.
Right, we are scattered. So when the text speaks of breath and heart becoming one whole, it's describing coherence. It's syncing the biological rhythm with the emotional state. When those 2 things lock into phase, the fragmentation stops. You are actually there.
So we have the theory. We need to stop rushing. We need to sync up. But theme 3 in our outline is the mechanics. How do we actually do this? Because this is usually the part where I expect a sales pitch for a retreat or a seminar.
And that is my favorite part of this text. The Reverend is very clear. No need for approval, no external key.
No external key. That is hugely empowering, but also a little scary. Because if there's no key, I can't blame anyone else if it doesn't work.
Precisely. It's total accountability. It democratizes enlightenment. You don't need a priest, a guru, a subscription app, or the Reverend Point Blank himself. You have all the hardware installed already.
And the instructions for that hardware are surprisingly physical. Steady breath,
Yeah.
which we talked about, but then spine set free.
Set free, not straight, not rigid, free.
What's the difference in your mind?
Well, straight implies effort. It implies holding yourself up against gravity. Set free implies release. It suggests that our natural state is alignment, but we have shackled our spines with tension. We hunch over phones, we slump with fatigue, we tighten our shoulders with stress. To set the spine free is to let go of the muscles that are pulling it out of alignment. It's a decompression.
I like that. It's unstacking the weight of the world. And then he says to slow down and center your core.
Grounding. Again, physics. If
Yeah.
you want to build something tall, like this column of light, you need a low center of gravity.
Now, this next part, this is where the text really threw me a curveball. We're talking about thoughts, intent, stillness. These are mental things. But then he says, it's not the mind that activates this light, but the body's remembrance.
This is the pivot point of the entire philosophy.
The body's remembrance.
It reverses the hierarchy we live by. We think the mind is the CEO and the body is just the employee. We think we have to learn spiritual truths intellectually. We read books, we listen to deep dives like this one, but Point Blank is saying, no, your mind is the novice here. Your mind is the one that's confused.
The mind is the one rushing and distracting.
Exactly, but the body is ancient. Your biology contains millions of years of evolutionary wisdom. It knows how to heal a cut without you thinking about it. It knows how to breathe. It knows how to regulate your heartbeat. The text suggests that the body already knows how to activate the Merkabah. It's a remembrance.
So we aren't learning a new skill. We are remembering an old one.
We are getting the mind out of the way so the body can do what it was designed to do. It's like muscle memory. You don't think about how to ride a bike once you know how. If you think about it too much, you fall over. You have to trust the body.
That is oddly relieving. It takes the pressure off figuring it out.
Yeah.
I just need to create the conditions, the stillness, and let the body take over.
Body's remembrance, pure and right. It implies the body hasn't been corrupted by the world the way the mind has. The body is still honest.
So let's say we manage this. We slow down, we set the spine free, we let the body remember. What is the result? The text promises a transformation.
The Merkabah awakens and confusion is no more.
Confusion is no more. That is a massive claim.
It is, but think about what confusion is. Confusion is usually the result of conflicting signals. I should do this, but I want to do that. I feel this, but logic says that. If you achieve that state where breath and heart are one whole, conflict disappears. If there's no conflict, there can be no confusion. You just know?
And then we get the final visual. The spirit aligns and the Merkabah spins in sacred signs.
This is classic Merkabah imagery. It's dynamic.
It reminds me of a gyroscope. You know those toys.
Perfect analogy.
A gyroscope can stand perfectly still on the tip of a pencil, but only if it's spinning incredibly fast.
Right. It's dynamic stability. It's not the stillness of a rock. It's the stillness of a spinning top. It's active. And that connects back to what we said earlier about boldness. This isn't about being passive or comatose. It's about generating so much coherent energy that you become immovable.
And this brings us full circle to the author himself, the Reverend Point Blank, the Witticisor.
The man from Chi-Town.
He's putting this out there on YouTube. He calls it his gospel of truth. He views these as God-given gifts. It's just so interesting that someone with such a comedic, almost loud outward persona is championing such deep inner quiet.
I think it makes him the perfect messenger. If a monk told you to be quiet, you'd say, well, easy for you to say you live in a monastery. But this is a guy from Chicago. He's in the mix. He's dealing with the rush and the noise. And he's saying, hey, I found a way to navigate this.
It makes it accessible. It's street-level mysticism.
Exactly. It's a tool for the trenches.
So let's try to summarize this journey we've taken. We started with a text that looks like a comedy routine, but reads like a sacred manual.
We identified the enemy. A world that rushes, distracts, and divides, and a personal state of fear that acts as a parking brake on our spirit.
We found the method. It's not about buying a crystal or joining a cult. It's about breath, intent, and setting the spine free. It's about physical alignment.
And ultimately, it's about trusting the body's remembrance. It's about admitting that our clever minds might be the problem, and our ancient bodies might hold the solution.
And the payoff is a lack of confusion, a spinning, stable light in a chaotic world.
Which is something I think every single listener could use a little more of right now.
Absolutely. It's a lot to take in from a short text, but it really challenges the way we approach self-improvement. We're always trying to add things. Add a habit, add a skill, add knowledge. Reverend Point Blank is telling us to subtract. Subtract the fear, subtract the noise, subtract the tension.
And see what spins when everything else stops.
That leads us to our final thought for this deep dive. We always like to leave you with a question to carry into your week. And for me, this one is staring us right in the face.
It really is. The text says the Merkabah waits where calm resides. It doesn't say it waits where smartness resides or where effort resides.
So the question is this: if you are feeling stuck right now, or confused or overwhelmed, is it because you don't know enough? Are you missing a piece of information?
Or is it simply because you aren't still enough? Are you trying to think your way out of a problem that can only be solved by breath?
Are you trying to force the mind to do the body's job?
That's the one.
It's something to think about. Or actually, maybe it's something to stop thinking about, just for a few minutes.
Set the spine free.
That's exactly. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the mind and body of the Reverend Point Blank.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time. Stay curious.
And stay still.